Jungkook's manager couldn't hold back tears. What did he really reveal? In a moment no one had anticipated, the atmosphere shifted into silence and overwhelming emotion when Jungkook, the golden maknae of BTS, finally opened up about something he had been holding inside for so long. That very moment became a turning point not only for him, but also for those closest to him. Nobody expected that the words pouring out of Jungkook's mouth would bring his very own manager to tears, unable to contain the emotions anymore. That scene has now become the talk of many because it revealed honesty, sincerity, and depth rarely seen in the entertainment spotlight. The silence in the room broke when Jungkook's trembling voice cut through the air. He tried to stay composed, but the heaviness in his tone was undeniable. His manager, who had been by his side for years, was seen struggling to hold himself together until the tears finally streamed down his face. The big question that arose was, what exactly did Jungkook reveal that touched his manager's heart so deeply? The answer slowly unfolded through a story that revealed not only the vulnerable side of an idol, but also the warmth of a bond between an artist and his manager, something far beyond professionalism, something that resembled family. The beginning of a silent moment. It all started in a simple, quiet room, far from flashing cameras and noisy crowds. Only a few people were present, including the manager who had never left Jungkook's side. Jungkook sat still, his gaze fixed on the floor, as if searching for courage to release the words that had long been locked inside his heart. The world knows Jungkook as the cheerful, energetic, unstoppable performer who always uplifts ARMY around the globe. Yet behind the bright lights and stage performances lies a fragile side rarely seen by anyone. When he finally broke the silence, every sentence he spoke struck like a thunderbolt. His manager, seated nearby, clasped his hands tightly, trying to steady himself as he listened. His eyes began to glisten as the weight of Jungkook's confession sank in. And then, unable to resist the emotions building inside, his tears fell, an undeniable sign of how deeply Jungkook's words touched him. Jungkook's words that shattered the silence. All this time, I've always tried to look strong. I know so many people expect so much from me, but sometimes I feel so tired. There are moments when I want to give up, but I can't, because there are millions of people counting on me, Jungkook said in a trembling voice. Those words pierced through the air, straight into the hearts of everyone listening. The manager, who had watched Jungkook grow from a teenage trainee into a global superstar, felt the weight of every syllable. I never wanted to disappoint ARMY. I never wanted to disappoint the members, and I never wanted to disappoint you, who've always been by my side. But honestly, there were times when I felt so alone, even while surrounded by people. Jungkook continued that it was like an arrow cutting straight to the heart. The manager, who had always tried to remain strong and composed for Jungkook, could no longer hold back. His tears flowed freely, not from weakness, but from a deep compassion for someone he had come to treat as family. A bond beyond work. That moment revealed something the public rarely sees. The bond between Jungkook and his manager is far more than business. To most, a manager is just someone who handles schedules, coordinates appearances, and takes care of logistics. But behind closed doors, the connection runs deeper. His manager had been there through sleepless nights, endless rehearsals, grueling world tours, and unseen struggles. He sacrificed his own personal time and comfort just to ensure Jungkook was safe and supported. For years, they had walked this path together, and when Jungkook finally spoke his truth, it was as though all the memories came rushing back. Their struggles, sacrifices, and quiet victories that nobody outside their circle would ever fully understand. That was why the tears weren't just about pain. They were about love. They were about shared battles, silent promises, and the unspoken truth that they were more like brothers than colleagues. Tears as a symbol of truth. The tears streaming down the manager's face weren't ordinary tears. They symbolized truth, truth about the weight of responsibility, the love he carried, and the empathy he felt. His tears became the unspoken bridge that showed just how deep their connection was in an industry often filled with pretenses and carefully crafted images. That moment stood out as pure, raw, and real. It reminded everyone that idols are human beings, capable of breaking down, feeling weary, and needing comfort. Jungkook chose honesty, and that honesty moved his manager to tears, not out of despair, but because he felt every ounce of Jungkook's struggle in his own heart. ARMY's emotional reaction when news of this moment spread. ARMY across the globe were shaken with emotion. Social media platforms were filled with supportive messages, prayers, and confessions of love for Jungkook. Fans wrote about how proud they were of him for daring to open up, even though it wasn't easy. He's not just an idol, he's a human who fights so hard for us. I cried reading this, one fan wrote. That manager's tears represent all of us. We all want Jungkook to know he's not alone. Another ARMY shared. The wave of emotion highlighted just how strong the connection is between Jungkook and his fans. It was more than just admiration. It was a shared love, a shared vulnerability, and a reminder that idols and fans are tied together by invisible threads of sincerity. A turning point for Jungkook. Since that day, many people began to view Jungkook differently. They no longer saw just the flawless performer on stage, but also the human being behind the curtain, carrying immense burdens. That confession became a turning point, allowing Jungkook to embrace vulnerability as a strength rather than a weakness. Meanwhile, his manager, though moved to tears, actually demonstrated resilience. His emotional breakdown wasn't a sign of fragility, but rather proof of loyalty, compassion, and genuine care. He showed that it was okay to cry, it was okay to feel, and most importantly, it was okay to acknowledge that they were fighting this journey together. Why this moment matters to some. It might seem like just a private conversation between an idol and his manager. But in reality, it revealed something profound. It revealed the humanity often hidden by fame, the cracks in perfection, and the power of connection when two souls acknowledge each other's pain. Jungkook, often idolized as flawless, showed his fragility. His manager, often seen as a shadow in the background, stepped into the light with tears that spoke volumes. Together, they reminded the world that beyond the glitter and glamour of the stage, there are human hearts beating, breaking, and healing. Conclusion: tears that connect. The moment Jungkook's manager cried after hearing his confession will forever be remembered as one of the most genuine moments in his journey. It wasn't just about an idol and his manager. It was about family, friendship, and unconditional love that went beyond roles and responsibilities. Those tears became a symbol of honesty, compassion, and togetherness. And for Jungkook, it was a reminder that no matter how heavy the world feels on his shoulders, he is never truly alone. There will always be people who care, who cry with him, and who will stand by his side no matter what.